morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Murungi.
And this is your girl Fatu. It's good to be here once again. Welcome to our podcast, Hapakule.
Welcome. At Hapakule means here and there, and we talk about life here where we are and other places we've been to or our home countries. We talk about life in time, in the future, the past, and the present. And today we're going to talk about working in Japan. Have you ever wondered what it's like for, foreigners, especially Africans, to work in Japan? So today we are joined with our three brothers. We'll let each of them introduce themselves. Please, tell us a bit about yourselves, your home countries, how long you've been in Japan, and what you do.
Okay. So, brother, go ahead. Brother from Kenya.
I can
The
start.
English brother.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Boniface. I'm from Kenya, Nairobi. I've been in Japan now cumulatively maybe 8 years. I studied here for my master's and for my PhD. And I currently work for a renewable energy farm, produce solar panels in Japan and other renewable energy related technology, storage batteries and so on.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's enough for me. Nice to be here.
Okay. So, I'm Ndoi from Senegal. I've been living in Japan for almost 5 years. And then first time, I was working for some companies like foreign, most of time foreign company, not Japanese company. And then at the end, I was like thinking, okay, I think I can do something for myself. So then I found my own companies like over 1 year now. And then I started working for myself, like doing import, export, trading, and consulting at the same time.
Okay.
Then I'm dealing with like agriculture product and food product, food and beverage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so far like that's it. I think that's enough for now.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm from Dakar. Yeah, I'm from Dakar, and I've been living in many countries before in Japan. I used to live in Morocco, to Dubai, to Doha, and to Germany, France, and all that. So far,
Wow.
and yeah, now in Japan for almost 5 years. Yes.
All right. So my name is Bagu. I'm from Guinea Conakry. I've been living in Japan for 5 years now. I did my master's here. I did 1 year of Japanese language and 2 years of masters, and that's 3 years. And then for the past 2 years, I've been working in Japan. I'm working for company, consultancy company that works in construction. I am a civil engineer, and we work on JICA projects in a lot of let's say countries. And right now I'm working on a project in Southeast Asia, in the Philippines, Manila, more precisely. Even though I'm in Japan now because of the Corona situation that we all know. So yeah, that's it for me for now. Thank you. Nice to meet you all again.
That's great.
I think we
I
have a
mean,
Great.
just to have a background, would you like, have you guys ever experienced working at home before coming to Japan?
Um, Back home, I've done some internships. Actually, one internship before coming, but it wasn't really uh how to call it, as intense as here, as Japan. But let's just say I've done a few months of internship before coming to.
Okay, let's see. And as Lois said, he already lived in other countries and probably has worked there before, right, Lois?
Mm.
For for my country, I never worked in there, like because I left when I just graduated at the high school, and then I never working technically, just maybe I use it to take care of my family business. Like my dad opened it before a fast food company. Like
Okay.
so this is the just things I did there. I never working there something like that. No, in my whole life. So I don't have any experience in my own country. Yeah, but I will love one day to do something in there if possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So why Japan for all of you? Why did you decide to work in Japan?
Okay. Yeah. For me, I got a contract. Like I said, I got a
Okay.
contract from some company, and then
Mm,
the company brought me to Japan. That was like for 2 years contract. And then
okay.
after I finished with the contract with the company, I got another contract with another company. And
Okay.
then while I was working with that company, just I have my own dream, because that was since I was young. I never want to work for someone. I just was thinking like I have to work for myself.
Yeah.
So this was kind of a dream for me. So
Mm,
after I got a lot of experiences and a lot of connection, then I just started my own business. So Japan was not like something I choose by myself.
yeah.
So just I came because I was asking it here, and
Okay.
that was just why I came here in Japan. So it's like my destiny, not
Okay.
something I choose like at the
I
yeah.
see.
Nice.
I mean, for our listeners that are listening, I think they would like to know, like, was it hard to get a contract? I mean, was it like, did you apply online or you have a profile online where the company saw it? How did you get it?
Uh, Excuse me, I don't hear your question.
For the contract you got to come to Japan, how did you get it? Did you have a profile online, like a LinkedIn profile that
No, no.
people saw?
I was working at the time in Dubai. So after
Okay,
Morocco, I went to Dubai, and I was working. It was some company, and that
okay.
company has a mini branch almost
Oh,
all
I
around the
see.
world. And then they sent me to Japan, and the contract was only 2 years.
Wow.
So after the contract, I have to go back then.
Okay,
But I didn't feel like, so just stayed here, and found another company. And
okay.
Mm,
yeah, while working, so I was like trying to get some connection, and like win a lot of experience. Then
Mhm.
they, yeah, that was like that. Like I said, it's just my destiny, but it's not something I really wanted to. I just like search it about that.
Okay, thank you.
and
You're welcome.
and the rest of you, why Japan? Why did you choose that? Okay, let me do this work thing in Japan. Let me give it a try.
I can go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for me, honestly, before I came to Japan, I knew almost nothing about Japan.
Mm,
Apart from the few, we used to have some programs in on TV about Japanese traditions, traditional housing, and so on.
mm,
But after I graduated, I always wanted to do my higher education, do my
mm,
PhD, and so on. I wanted or still want to be a university professor. So I was looking around for scholarships, and I managed to get the Japanese scholarship. So I
mm,
came to Japan for my master's, and
mm,
I spent 3 years in Japan for my language school and the 2 years for master's. After that, I went back home because my family was still young.
mm,
But the 3 years that I spent here made me feel like I could work here, made me
mm.
feel like I could have a life here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Uh, there are more opportunities, even in the lab, the kind of research I was doing. I thought for my career in academia, I would
Mm,
be able to achieve more if I was in Japan.
okay.
So I went back home. I taught at the university for another 3 years. Then
Okay.
I got another opportunity to come back and rejoin the lab for my doctorate.
Okay.
And after I completed, I stayed in the lab for another extra year. But because those were rolling contracts, I decided maybe let me just get a full-time job. And if the opportunity finally comes to get a permanent job in the university, maybe I'll go back.
Okay.
And see, right.
Yeah, that's
So you
my
found your
story.
purpose.
That's my
Interest.
story. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, for me, like Bonnie said, how do you call it? I didn't really know much about Japan before, so coming. It's not as like we know Japanese technology, Japanese cars are good, you know, all those things. But that is a very well, I think it's an image we have through media, you know. So I was looking for a lot of scholarships in different countries. I was looking for scholarships in France because French is usually our go-to country, you know. So France, the US, Canada, and Japan just happened to, happened to get that, scholarship first. So I was like, why not? That was the language barrier, language. I was like, we speak French. I managed to learn English, and now you're asking me to learn Japanese and all. But I was like, well, it's a different experience. I don't have many friends in Japan, so why not? I came and I did, as I said earlier, 1 year of language and did my masters. And while I was doing my masters, I was like, usually you have, I came as a mixed scholar, like Bonnie. It's a scholarship that most of us are mixed scholars. We come to embassy, and so you're faced with choices like you have the option of going to PhD or the option of getting a job,
Right.
or going back.
Yeah.
I I personally I wasn't ready to go back home yet. I was like, this is an opportunity, and as Bonnie said, once you come here, you see opportunities. You're like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Like, there's this, that, and the other. And I wasn't really a fan of academia. I won't say. My father was a professor, and to be honest with you, man, I have a low. I don't really like professors back home. Man, the image we have of people, teachers and people in the academia, it's not really a good one. So I didn't want to replace my father, man. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to let me just try to find a job, and yeah, and yeah, that's how I did job hunting and found this job I'm doing currently. Yeah.
So talking about job hunting, like how was the process? I heard that the process in Japan is kind of hard in getting a job, and it
Well,
takes like 1 year or so.
Yeah.
uh,
But
well, Bonnie can go first maybe because I had a typical path. So maybe Bonnie is a
I
little bit,
I
you know.
I think the Japanese process is quite tough.
Okay.
If you're applying as like a Japanese would apply.
yeah.
So
Mm,
1 year before you graduate, you start, or 1.5 years before you graduate, you start sending out CVs. You go through the process of interviews and checking on your papers and so on. That can be tough, especially because you are competing against the typical Japanese graduate is maybe a 22-year-old, yeah, to
Bonnie,
begin
was
with.
that your experience?
And yes, it was at first.
Okay.
Then I came to realize that I shouldn't be applying as a fresh graduate.
Ah.
Yeah, to begin with, I already have a lot of work experience. I had almost 8, 9 years of sort of work experience. I had been a researcher at the university. So for me, I was supposed to have applied as somebody who's changing careers, mid-career.
I
You
see.
see. Yeah. And when I did that, the companies who are looking for career changes, not for fresh graduates, it's a different process. In Japan, everything is a process. Yeah.
Lots of
That's a
people.
different process. And when I tried that, I went through an agency that connects job hunters with companies. And in about a month, I had almost three choices.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
nice.
So yes, if you're applying like a fresh graduate, like a Japanese, where you have to, your language has to be the same level and so on, and that can be quite tough. But if you're looking for a job tailored to you, maybe the company is looking for a foreigner, or the company is looking for somebody who has certain experience or something. Like my company was looking for an expert, a renewable energy expert. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody who knows the technical details very well. Yeah. Then it becomes much easier in that way, at least in my experience.
Okay.
Yes.
To be honest, that is very new to me.
Oh,
I thought most people who got jobs either it was like say through the tough process or some sort of recommendation. I was not really aware of those other companies that are looking for uh particular human resource. So
yes.
I think that gives a lot of people hope because all we know is the tough process. Yeah, tough process. So Bagu,
Okay.
would you like to tell us about your tough process?
Yeah, yeah. As Bonnie said, well, uh, uh, there's the typical process, the tough process that you just mentioned, and for me, that's the one I went through. Like after, like during my second year of masters, I started, you know, doing job hunting with the Japanese students. Like so,
Wow.
like Bonnie, I didn't have like prior experience, like so I couldn't apply. Like for me, that was the only option, actually. If even in hindsight, so that process is really it is something like this. It really uh, like makes you realize a lot of things because
What were some of the highlights? Like, what are those things you remember? You're like, okay, this is what made the process difficult.
while you go to job fairs and all these companies come and they sit you guys in a room and they start doing these briefing sessions and everything is in Japanese because
Yeah.
it is directed at the typical Japanese student,
Mm.
so even when they say they speak English and all, the truth is like it's not really that good. The English is not that good, so you don't really understand. So let me tell you, it's really frustrating for someone like to sit in a room for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, listening to something and not understanding. You know, like you might at that point when I decided to take that path, I already had a small level of Japanese, that I thought maybe could help me, but I soon realized that hey, like what is expected me is way beyond what I have right now, Yet I want work. So like it's really frustrating, because you have to come back home and then look at all those pamphlets they give you guys and check and be, so this is what it was saying, this what so it makes it just a little bit complicated. Then, then finally if you see something that you see a company that you want to that you like, you go to their website, you register, they have an entry sheet, you register and go through, all the process, and finally you guys have to meet because there's an interview, you know. And for me, everything was in Japanese, you know, like. But I'm not complaining. I'm not saying okay, I didn't know or no, no. Nah, it's like nah. It's I know it, and let's say I was willing to go through the process. I saw it as you know a challenge, and I'm like, all right, it's tough, but and also I had seen people. I had seen like after coming to Japan, I saw like there's this African community and we have events where we see people. So I've met people that have done it, that I used to exchange with and tell me stuff. But I see them, they are, they are living, they are not dead, they are getting by every day. And so I was like, if these people can do it and we have the same background, some of them we even speak the same language, some of them are from, Senegal, like you're here. I was like, if they can do it, why can't I do it? So for me, it was a little bit like that.
Okay.
So you would say knowing the Japanese language is quite important in getting the job in Japan.
But as Bonnie mentioned, there are different, like probably in Bonnie's case, like it's not like probably the Japanese now. Of course, it's always easier to have a certain level of Japanese language. It makes your life easier in general and at work and in daily life. But as you said, if you have the technical skills, you have the expertise they want. In his case, I guess it's not like they don't put that much emphasis on the language as long as you can, because I work with people, the company I'm working at right now, I work with people who don't have that good level of Japanese, but, they know what's going on. They know what the work is about. So you find ways, but for someone that is just starting, like, that wants to go through the process, Japanese can really be a big barrier.
Advantage. Okay.
Yeah.
What about Ndoy? Fatu?
What about?
I think Nolan mentioned that for him it was quite easy, like it was a contract from another country coming here.
Yeah.
For me,
So he did not go through the process, or did you go to the process with your second job?
no, I didn't go to the process because that was not the Japanese company also. So I didn't have any problem with like a process or something like that. I just applied online, and after it took like maybe 1 week, then I got the setback from them, and then I went there to have an interview, and that's it. Yeah, it was English. So I didn't have.
How is your Japanese level? Sorry.
No, my Japanese is maybe I can say like from 1 to 10, I can say maybe 2. I'm not good. I'm not good at all. It's just all I can. No, my Japanese is very bad. Last month, no, not last month, last February, we went to a seminar in Morocco and in Senegal. So it was with Japanese companies. But most of them was thinking me I'm really good at Japanese. So some of them came and tried to speak Japanese, but I just can know very little. So I was like, no, I'm sorry, but my Japanese is not that. So I'm not working with Japanese company the most of time. I had some Japanese partner, but most of time I have like an Indian partner, Australian, Singaporean, Malaysian. So I don't really, because the Japanese company is like so slowly. I mean, they are so slow the way they are making business. So like they always care about many stuff. They always ask many questions. I know it's okay, but they are not that tough. So I mean, having business with Chinese or with Malaysian or with I don't know Australian is way quite more easy than with Japanese.
Okay.
They also they don't have some of them. They are like thinking, oh, they just have an image like Africa is like a continent or like there is no security, so it's not good to make a business with African. Some of them, but not all. But now, like they are seeing now what the Chinese is doing in Africa, so they know already they are late. So now they want to try to get back. That's why they are trying to make like a ticket or this kind of stuff.
I can imagine. Ordinarily, even when you're doing something as simple as maybe getting your residence card or doing all these small processes, a lot of paperwork, the processes are so long. What was it for you? What was some of the biggest challenges you met when starting?
For me, I didn't have any problem about because I already got the visa when I came here, so it was like 3 years.
Okay.
And then when I changed when when I changed again to get another job, they supported me. So I have again another visa. And then when I
Okay.
wanted to open my company, so I like, we need to have like I need to like 5 million of yen.
Okay.
Yeah, so I made it all these things and I just applied and got a business visa.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got a visa. I didn't have any problem with like a so long process because
Mm,
I already got a visa and it was like I was like I had a long enough time. I mean, it was when I quit the second job, my visa was left 2 years.
okay.
So I was like thinking the way I just got someone who helped me. He was like he was a lawyer, a foreign lawyer, so I didn't pay that much money. Just he helped me to collect some papers and all those things.
Mm,
Yeah, and it was not difficult. I went to immigration center, applied for business visa, and I got it.
okay.
So far, I didn't have any bad experiences or any
Mm,
tough things to with like the Japanese system or the Japanese like a visa or those things.
mm.
It
So,
was easy so far.
in your case, you said you worked in other countries. How do you compare, the working experience in those different countries and Japan?
I think like in Japan it's not that easy too because like I said they care about many things and they are not really open. Even they are trying, but I think it's still like they are not open. If you compare, like if you go for example to France today, and
Mm,
you wanna work there or you wanna have your own company, I think it's gonna be more easy than here in Japan.
okay.
They can support you easily and all those things. Like now when the corona happening,
Mm,
the city Yokohama city said we're gonna support the at first the companies who have like problems like small company
mm,
and big company also. But the
okay.
process, if you want to do that, it's gonna take like almost 1 month to fill this one go there. So I think it's so slow. Like I said, you want to help someone and like it will take almost one month to help that person.
Okay.
Like I think it doesn't make sense. And also they have a lot of paper to fill up.
Mm,
Everything is in Japanese, so I think they didn't think like there is some maybe foreigners who is doing their own business and who cannot speak Japanese that well.
I
So
see.
there is a point I think it's a little bit different with other countries. Like they
Okay.
try to help you, they try to even give someone who can write for you and all these kind of things. But here they only care about the Japanese. So if you cannot speak Japanese or if you cannot write Japanese, it's not going to be easy.
Mm,
Yeah, that's so when I compare like in other countries I use it to work, I think it's
mm,
more easy.
I
The
see.
system is more easy for foreigners.
Mm.
I think so than in Japan. Ah,
In hindsight, what do you think was some of your biggest mistakes or challenges during job hunting or during, when you're starting your business? So that like if there's someone out there who is in your shoes, if they can, find a way around that, then life would be easier for them.
I don't know if I'll go first.
Okay.
mm,
Well, I would say it's mistakes. It's more like challenges.
Mm,
I mean, like um, you you're about to like when you look for a job in a country. I would say like it's not just about the job. Like it's they have a culture. It's a society, and for you, you're a foreigner. You have a different background. So um there are a lot of things that you discover later on, you know, and you're like, okay, so this is what this was, this is what this was, or this is how people are thinking. They have a different way of thinking. So there's a lot of people that find jobs and then they discover, only then do they discover like the working culture in Japan, like the nomikai, the kohai senpai, Kohai meaning, junior, senpai, senior, and how social interactions in the Japanese culture, like, because they have different ways of interacting.
Yeah.
Something as simple as, like, for us, we might be, we communicate, we talk freely, we say things to each other. Like, usually African societies, people really live in communities, do communicate a lot. But in the Japanese society, it's more like they have something they call reading the air. They won't tell you clearly.
They just have some sort of telepathic powers.
Yeah. But let me tell you, a Japanese would understand that thing completely because you grew up in the system, But you, as a foreigner, that thing is going to fly over your head. You want to understand, So I personally, I'm still learning, and I really learned the hard way a lot of things, So for someone that wants to work in Japan, don't just look at it as Ndoye says, as you look at it like in France or in maybe the US, Australia, because I think we have an image of those societies, even in Africa, because of TV, media, and the interactions we've had with white people, quote unquote white people, for so long, but we don't really know Japanese. All we know is the technology and the cars, but we don't know them as people,
Okay.
So yeah, I would advise people to really do their homework and get to know that part too, so that you know what you're getting yourself into.
Pony?
Bagu, you sound like you're regretting something.
well, I'm sorry if I came off like that, but actually I don't regret. I think this is a like one of a kind, like it's a once in a lifetime experience. I don't think I would have experienced this in any other country. Like, let me tell you, everything I've been through, it's made me a better person, I would say. So it's not regret.
Could you share with us like one experience maybe? Because when you say reading the air, someone out there may not really catch what you're saying, Is there like one particular thing that stands out from you? You're like, oh, I think that was a complete miss for me. Maybe I should have done this, I should have done the other.
Off the top of my head, what example can I?
I can give you an example.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Let me let you.
I really sometimes find the senior junior thing quite interesting. Like how you talk to your senior, how you talk to your junior. It's something that is completely missing in our culture. As I said, I worked in the university for 3 years, and I was a student in the university where I worked at, So when I got into becoming a staff, I was joining people who were my lecturers, and I was seeing them as my former teachers, but now we were colleagues. But when you're colleagues with someone in Kenya, you are just friends. You just talk like you are the same level. There is no that of course there is seniority in at the workplace, that is understood, but how you address someone is just how you'd address anybody else. Yeah, but in Japan,
with a little bit of sir and please and madam.
I would just call my former lecturer by her or his name, Hello, Karen. Yeah, yes, yet he used to be Professor Karen, But in Japan, it's quite clear you have to stick the title to the person you're talking to. You have that bit really shocked me the first times. It's like there is somebody you can talk to about X and somebody you can't talk to about Y. You can't talk to person X before you talk to person Y. That can be a challenge for somebody who's coming from outside who doesn't understand the culture.
But I want to know, is this different? Because right now you and Bagu are talking with respect to Japanese companies. But if
Yes.
it's not a foreign company, uh,
Mm.
is it somehow different? Because for me right now, I have an experience. On Monday, I'm going to start working with Amazon Web Service. So, but it's all international. My interview was all in English. Everything is in English. But I'm not sure if I'll be working with Japanese or will it be the same Japanese culture. So, Ndoi, have you
Mm.
experienced that with regards to uh, because your
Sorry,
company, right?
sorry. Before Ndoye responds, yeah, I think
Mhm.
Mm.
that is it's an issue more of the culture of the people rather than a company.
The company, okay.
Yeah, it's not really about the
I
company.
agree.
It's about the cult. It
Yeah.
sprouts out from their
It's a
family setting.
society. The company lives in a society, in a setting, in an environment. So, as much as it might be called foreign,
Still in
it's in
Japan,
Japan.
run
It
by
is
Yeah.
still
Even
in
if it is in Japan, working with Japanese people who have the mentality of the Japanese
Mm.
workplace, it will be
Okay.
the same. But if you're working with people who have a different mentality, then I guess it will be different.
Mm.
Yes. Oh, sorry, Ndoye, I interrupted you.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so you are going to work for foreign, like for Amazon. So I think there is going to be a lot of maybe some Japanese. Even there is some Japanese. I think it's going to be different because I when I was working for like foreign company, I used to work with some Japanese, but they
Mm.
was totally different with the normal typical Japanese. I
Mm.
mean, there is not like the typical Japanese company, the typical Japanese way. Like you have to, I hear that you have to wait when the boss still there. You have to wait until the boss leave, so then
Live.
you can go back home. That so
Yes.
this kind of things we didn't have, even though
Okay.
the boss, our boss, was a Japanese, but the
Mm.
Japanese who live it abroad, who studied abroad, and all this. So we didn't have any problem with like with those kind of things. It was not really typical Japanese, so we didn't have any problem. That was very like a nice environment. We have a lot of people, like many backgrounds, many origin. It was like
Okay.
some people from Africa, some people from the Middle East. So it was like very nice place to work. So we didn't have so far. I didn't felt any I don't know how to say it. Any it was convenient for me. I mean that place.
Okay.
I see.
So I
That's
didn't have any problem. So to back about if there is a challenge, yeah, there was a challenge when I wanted to leave my work before, and there was a very nice job, and could had a good contract and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said
mm.
by myself, I want to leave. So I talked with some friends and some coworkers. They said, no, don't do that. It is too risky. So have a nice job right now, and you wanna stop this job and go do your own stuff. What if your business doesn't work well like you wish?
Oh.
So it was a challenge, right? And at the beginning, I think I took like almost 6 months thinking about what
Mm.
if my business doesn't work like I want and doesn't go well like I want. I said, oh no, I don't have to think like that. I just want to go. I have to go, and I will think that it will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, like it took 6 months, almost like 7 months, nothing was moving on. I just pay my money for renting, for my office, for the bills, for everything, even though
Mm-hmm.
I was not making any zero yet.
Mm.
But that's like that. So I know that I was thinking, okay, business is like you know you cannot say I will start today and can I will
Get
make money
profit.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I already was prepared about. So I was like, okay, maybe it can be. He will make money in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years. So it doesn't matter. So I
Mm.
just have to go. So that was my challenge, and then I just started, and yeah, now thank you. It's not like that big success, but I'm on the good way, I think. So
Okay.
that was my challenge, like in Japan here.
Gotcha. So I just remembered another. You were asking me like about reading the air,
Yes.
like in like in Japan they have this drinking culture they call nomikai.